Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Wolfman Gardening Channel. Today I'm going to go over 9 tips that you can take to help prevent those nasty tomato pests. I mean, there's nothing worse than spending 8, 10, 12 weeks raising these little seedlings from seeds all the way up till you plant them into the garden. They're growing well, and then you just have these disease and tomato pests that come in and just wipe your crop out. So, here's a couple of things that you can do to help prevent that. Number 1 is select a variety of tomato that is genetically grown to help prevent disease and pest. Stuff like your celebrities, your big boys, stuff like that. So these will help prevent a lot of these diseases. So select the right variety, and it makes a big difference. There's heat resistant varieties. There are also varieties that help against early blight and all that stuff. So all you got to do is just do a little research on these tomatoes. There's tomatoes that are genetically grown to grow in hot, humid areas. So just pick the right variety and that'll help you out when you're growing. Another thing you want to do is rotate your crops. Now, you don't want to, you hear all the time about, crop rotation. And you may think that that's just for big, huge gardens, but it can be detrimental even to your smallest garden. I mean, small areas, if you grow the same thing in the same spot year after year, well, it gets harder and harder to control against certain pests and certain disease. Another good thing is to practice good garden hygiene. And what do I mean by garden hygiene? Well, it's simple. That means the tools that you use whenever you're growing your garden, your rake, your hoe, all this stuff that you're using in your garden, these garden utensils, if you have some type of disease that's growing in the soil and you're digging with this little spade, and then you go dig in another area with that same spade, you're taking a chance on taking that disease over to another part of the garden. So crop rotation and hygiene, garden hygiene with your tools are very important. And another good thing is to mulch. When you mulch around, say you mulch around the base of your tomatoes, that mulch helps prevent if you happen to do any overhead watering and you've got this water splashing on that soil, it splashes that soil up onto your leaves, which if that soil has any type of bacteria in it, it gets to your leaves and it can actually get into the plant. So therefore, if you have mulch when you're doing the overhead watering and putting a barrier between your tomato plant and that soil, you get less chance for that soil bacteria to actually get up there and splash on there. Another thing is companion planting. Now I've done one video companion planting, and I'm going to do another one later on the true benefits of companion planting. Another thing, when you consider doing some companion planting, when you companion plant, plants like basil, marigolds, and even garlic are great companions to the tomato. It helps keep some of these pests away, because some of these pests do not like the smell of the marigold and the basil and your garlic, and it will actually deter them from even coming anywhere close to your tomatoes in the first place. Another good thing is like marigolds. Marigolds are really good about keeping the insects away from your tomatoes, and marigolds and your tomatoes are good companion plants. And one of the last things I want to say about a companion plant is garlic. You may not think that garlic and tomatoes would go good. They may not go good together whenever you're cooking with them, but as far as you're growing in the garden, garlic is a great companion to a tomato. Another thing is to keep an eye on it. And if you notice, one of my broccoli videos that I showed you that we had some leaf miners that got into our broccoli. Now, they wouldn't have got so bad if I would have been keeping a closer eye on it. So keeping a really close eye and looking for chewed up leaves, looking for holes in the leaves, looking for the edge of the leaves turning yellow or anything like that, a lot of times you can catch this early and not have to deal with a lot of it. Another thing is not using pesticides, because pesticides, although it will keep some of these pests away, it's also going to keep the good pest your natural predators, like your ladybugs, your lacewings, stuff like that. Those are some really good predators that help eat and keep away some of these, some of the worst predators that'll actually kill your plant. So ladybugs and stuff like that are good to have. So if you use pesticides, there's a good chance that you won't get any of those natural predators coming into your garden to help protect. Another good thing that you can use is organic sprays, like your neem oil, some insecticidal soap, all natural of course, and botanical insecticides are also good natural organic alternative for pesticides that will help keep some of these pests off your tomato plants. And last but not least, let's talk about crop covers. Now they make netting and stuff that you can put over your tomatoes or over your tomato plants that protect it from white flies, caterpillars, etc. and stuff like that. Although it is a little bit costly and it may cost you a little more money than not having it, if you've got the money and you got the time to put these on, then it works really good to keep these white flies and these caterpillars, keep all these off your plants. So that's just a few of the ways that you can keep some of these garden pests off your tomatoes. I hope you learned something today, and if so, think about subscribing to this channel, hit that bell notification, leave your comments down on the bottom, and like always, keep it growing.